we back at it. We fighting for a new day, new life, new money, fighting to survive. That's why I put Killmonger up here. So we're gonna be talking about life insurance. Once again, it's gonna be very brief. It's not gonna be that long. Just cut dry straight to the point. Do you actually need life insurance? Yes. Is it affordable? Yes. Could anybody get life insurance to a potentially? Yes. Now, the thing is, with life insurance, what are the things that you want out of your life insurance? Because let's be honest, if you're married, you really need life insurance to protect your family. We all understand that, the saying that men are protectors and providers. Okay, let's let that be the case. What's going on, young Riaz? Let's let that be the case. Men are protectors and providers. What if this provider leaves the home? Then what? If the provider actually leaves the home, then what are we faced with? Country hustle, what's going on? What are we faced with? Protector and the provider leaves the home. Then there's no one there to protect and to provide for the home. So who's going to take that person's place? Then the wife will have to go and get remarried, which she might don't want to do. She's heartbroken, just so in love with her husband, and then have to go and do this. This is a issue for her. She has to go trying to find a man that she can deal with, try to find a person that can, love her and be on her terms, and it's quite hard, to a point to do all that. But with the life insurance in play, she can mourn and she can still have that money that's been taken out of the family. Let's say, the household makes, they say the median household now is about over 125 to 150,000. So going with the median household, and we going that route, let's say that the husband and the wife brings in 150,000. The husband brings in 150. I mean, the husband brings in 75. The wife brings in 75. Let's even it all out to where it's even across the board. And then let's look at the numbers right here. Hold, hold on one moment. Sorry about that. I had a call trying to get it off. But yeah, okay. So let's say the wife and the husband both make equal share, 75,000 apiece. The husband makes 75, the wife makes 75. Okay, we're at that point. Now, knowing that the husband, he contributes his whole check towards the house. His wife, she contributes, let's give her 25. No, let's do 50% and she keep 25. She keep 25,000, but she contributes 50,000. That's the 25,000 grace for her to do certain things, but mainly he contributes his whole check towards the household, the bills, anything that he's gonna do after that is gonna be extra that's gonna help with the himself by getting an extra job or something on the side, to contribute. But going into that, if he does that, and let's say potentially he dies, that whole 75,000 that was put into all the bills that he had the majority over now is missing from the household. Now the 2,500, I mean the 25,000 that she had to the side, she's gonna have to come in with that 25,000 and add an extra 50,000 to contribute to the bills to make everything work. Just take a moment and think about that. How's that going to be beneficial for them? And so, what are we going to do if you're looking for a situation to, just get you in a better position? She's not in a better position by, you know, let me try to roll this window, truck passing by, but she's not in a better position when it comes to that because majority she's sitting here thinking like, how am I going to live? How am I going to survive? My husband is my everything, but mainly my husband contribute to all the bills. My husband put me in a situation where I was comfortable. I didn't have to worry about anything. He took care of all the bills. He made sure everything was right. So when it comes down to it, what is the main goal for her to do? Try to get another husband, try to make some money to keep the house. And then let's go to deeper further, point than that. They have a house, roughly what, $750,000 home. Let's even go lower than that. Let's go 250. 250, you're looking at between, let's just put around 15 to $2,000 easy every month, and that's on the low end without the interest rate they have now. You're looking at $2,500 with that interest rate now that they have, and she's paying $2,500 a month. I'm quite sure they had luxury cars or nice cars, so you're looking at the car note each month between the two cars, $1,500. So you already have $4,000. The kids, let's say we have two kids. Kids are expensive. Clothes, shoes, outings, sporting activities. Don't you know, getting on a traveling team for baseball, something like that, a football team, all the equipment that you have to buy, all the prep things, the socks, the belts, just the karate, the outfits, all those things cost money. And in the end, you're sitting there like, you've gone away as the man in the house, and this is more on the woman and her burden that she has to bear. She has to go and find a new husband. She has to make sure these bills are paid, and it's a lot. So by you being the man and being prepared for this, you set aside life insurance that can benefit her. If she don't want to go and get remarried, she doesn't. And I'm gonna take this for example with me. I'm married now. Shout out to Alonzo Hall, the insurance brother. Have life insurance through him as well. But this is gonna be my picture, my scenario. So my wife right now, if I were to pass, she wouldn't have to get remarried. I have three policies for her, and not just for her, just for my family. I have a term policy, a 20-year term. Then I have a whole life that where I can, take cash out of that because let's have an understanding. Life insurance is not just for death. Life insurance is for life. They have death insurance where you pay your plot, your casket, you know, your funeral arrangements, all that through the death insurance. There's a difference between the life insurance, the death insurance. So that whole life will help me with that. And more or less, that's what along the lines of term life is mainly used for death insurance. But let me go down this rabbit hole a little more. So then I have an IUL, universal life insurance. Everybody talks about it with an index. Um, she's gonna have those three policies to choose from to actually sustain life. She's gonna be able to pay off the house. She's gonna be able to buy another house. Her dream of doing investment properties, having the boys go to different schools, having the boys have their own home, get ready to go to college, however she wants to do by managing that money the right way. And it's there for her. As time go on, I sit here and I write out plans that need to be done with the money. I've told her, if anything happened to me, your best bet is to take the money, go buy you an apartment, a couple of quads, something that you can have money rolling in each month. You pay them off, get you a good property manager, and you manage those properties well, making sure that the tenants pay their money. You know, I would even thinking about putting it in there for us to help some people to show how they can overcome, obstacles and things like that to, low income housing, help some people out. Single mothers, men's dealing with, converting back into society, from whether it be jail or, a hard hit from a divorce. Don't you know, on average, most men who get hit from a divorce and then the child support kicks in, those guys barely can make it. On average, if they're not staying with their friends, they're going back to stay with mom and dad. But have an understanding if mom and dad isn't around, they're kind of screwed. Especially with the guys who time serve out of prison, they have to go somewhere. And if you've been an inmate for 20, 30 years, lost contact with your family, no one's there, where are you gonna go? So that's another thing that she could do as far as with the money. But let's get back on topic. So having the money to pay the house off and all that. But the biggest thing is my income being lost, but paid in a lump sum. And this is one of the big things that a lot of people who hit the lottery, they kind of fall short on. The curse of the lottery, is always on TV. I watch it on I think it's AME or some one of those channels. But it's called the curse of the lottery. And that's why the whole thing in keeping my wife grounded, letting her know the money that she's going to be getting, what she needs to do with the money, how the money's going to help her. All in all, for her to have that understanding, hey, this money is going to be here for you to do things that can benefit you, but also knowing how to spend the money long term. Don't go out and buy a, BMW. Don't go out and get $1 million mansion and then in 5 years you can't afford it. You know, baby steps. You can go get that nice Altima. I mean, you can go get that nice Mercedes, but don't get the newer one. Get the one that's older, or if you're gonna get a newer one, just prepare that insurance is gonna hit you. Buy it straight out, but you don't have no note. Knowing that you get another house, get a simplified house. You don't need a house with 10 bedrooms and it's just you and my two younger boys. Even if the older kids were to come back and stay with her, which are my older two, still, that's only 4 kids. You can get some with a basement and have rooms in the basement. Lacey J was going, man, I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't seen your videos. Well, once again, granted, I don't be on YouTube as much, but I'm gonna start back coming on. But Lacey J, how you doing? Gotta come check your channel out too. But like I said, just with that life insurance, knowing the money that she has, knowing how to spend the money is gonna help. I have these same talks with my sons. I had my man-to-man talk with my son, my twins. I think it was last week where I told them, if I were to die, what would you guys do? What would be your outcome? How would you spend this money if I give it to you? Because what you're telling me now is going to let me know how much money I need to leave you. If the first thing out your mouth, oh, I'm going to buy a Mercedes. Oh, daddy, man, that's not what I taught you. I taught you be moderate. Get you a nice functioning. You can get a brand new Nissan. You can get a brand new Toyota. I told them Toyotas and Hondas last long. If you're gonna have something in a position where you're gonna work, Get you a pickup truck, preferably, in my opinion, GMC or Dodge. But at the same time, you know, this is the thing: preference, choice, how you want to do. You need something that's gonna last. I have these conversations with my boys. I tell them, okay, what are you gonna do with the money? Oh, I want to start a business. What type of business? Because this is the key. Everybody who gets the lottery or gets some lump sum, they typically go broke within 5 years. That's why they always have this notion of when you're coming into money, you lose the money fast as you get it. Even to the point of people who are third and fourth generation millionaires, they can obtain the money because why? They've always been around money. They've always been taught to how to use money. They've always been in a position that money is always plentiful. A person that just coming into money, by the second generation, they're broke. And you know why? Because you never taught the next generation how to use the money, how to maintain and keep the money. Your position was to get the money, but your position was never to teach the next generation how the money can be long term. Prime example: the Kennedys and the Rockefellers, they had the money, they learned life insurance, putting it in trust. I'm gonna go over that on another video to actually keep the money long term. So, point blank, period, going into it, who needs the life insurance? You need it. What type of life insurance do you need? Preferably your decision. But thing is, like I said, I drive that slingshot. I have three policies. Three wheels on that slingshot, I have three policies. You know, and that's just the basics of going into life insurance. Once I add that fourth wheel to make it a car, that's when I start talking about my annuities, 401k, any little things that I'm saving. Underrated darkness. What's going on with your brother? What's going on with your brother? But this is basically the key. A lot of times we never really have that conversation about life insurance until it's too late. You know, the thing is, getting a term life starting off is better than having nothing. I have a friend, and I've said this the other day, that my friend doesn't have any life insurance but through his job. If he were to leave his job today and uh, up just all of a sudden, knocking on wood, have something happen to him, how is his family going to survive? He have investments now, but the thing of it is, he don't want them to sell his investments. He put them in an irrevocable trust. So when you write an irrevocable trust, anything that's in that trust, you can't take it out. So they would have to let those things lapse and fall off, and hopefully they have the money to buy. But other than that, keep generating money to keep those properties that he have afloat. But far as on my end, I have these life insurance policies. This money is coming to them whole. They can go buy properties. They can, do other things to sustain life. Um, Talking with my wife about trust, having a trust. She can fund the trust through my life insurance and start our family legacy, having a family compound that I've always wanted, you know, buying a whole bunch of land, putting it on to where the whole family can have houses all over that property, you know, maintain the family structure how it used to be within society. But, you know, rules of engagement made us change. I've told my older two kids, but, the society taught them lead the nest early. My younger kids, I told them as well. If you want to go to college, you get a local college, stay home. If you want to go abroad, go abroad. But no one's forcing you out. Only thing will force my kids out of the house is their actions. I don't want any trouble coming to my house. I don't want no guys looking for them, police and stuff like that. If you're into that lifestyle, I told my kids all the time, when you turn 18, you got to go. And before you turn 18, I'm responsible for you, but it's not going to happen like the way you think it is at my house. So we have to have these conversations with our kids, have to have these conversations with our spouse, and have an understanding. if you have life insurance and if you don't have life insurance, what is it going to be used for? You know, the kids need to know when they get this life insurance, don't go buy a Ferrari. Prime example, and I'm about to get ready to get off of here. Shout out to Alonzo Hall, the insurance brother. He had a luncheon, and I have to talk to him about that. I talked to Charles the other day, and for those that know Charles, I'm not gonna say, you just have to find out who Charles is according with Alonzo. But talked to Charles, and we were having a conversation. He said, "Yeah, I remember you, man. You're always at the luncheon. You're asking questions. Man, that's great to see you so involved with this life insurance and taking things serious." But on that note, the guy who was under the policy. Okay, let me go back. There was a lady that was there. She was a um, I forgot. I just had a brain freeze. What her title was, but basically she did some along the rounds of trust, and to the point where the guy's parents died and she was over the money to kind of let them know, hey, this is how much money you're getting, this is what your family is doing, and going so forth. End up explaining to him the guy was getting like 4.3 million or 3.4 million, one of the two. He took the money, was great, happy, no problem. This guy took the money in California, bought a Ferrari, bought what was it, a townhouse or something, or whatever, loft or what it was, and partied almost every weekend. This guy was partying every weekend. 3.4 million, that's a lot of partying. Going to Dubai, taking trips to France, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, all the Punta Cana, all the Jamaica, all the hot spots where the parties are. He's going there, he's living it up. Not one time, never heard the guy talk about getting a job, investing the money into something that he can make more money. He just steady spending, steady spending, steady spending. He getting down to his last million. He's thinking, oh man, I need to do something. But all it takes is that friend or somebody say, hey man, when the next party? Oh, next this weekend. So he's spending and spending. 500,000 left. Now you're to the point where your car's paid off, but the maintenance is due on it. You're talking about getting the oil changed, $300 to $500 for oil change for that Ferrari. Oh man, you're talking about the Cadillac converter going out. You're looking at the sums of almost 25 to 50,000, for the Cadillac converter. Oh man. So ultimately, this guy spent all his money off that life insurance policy within a year and a half. How are you going to bounce back? How are you going to make it work? But this being said, man, it's just crazy. And I'm about to get off here, but just saying that when you get a life insurance, make sure you talk to your family, make sure you talk to your friends, make sure you talk to the people that going to be able to benefit off that policy, and how's it going to help them? How's it going to help you? Knowing what you're doing with the policy can actually help you and help your family. Even if you don't have a family and you're by yourself, who are you going to leave the money to? You don't want the next generation of your nieces and nephews to have something to fall back on. You don't want to be known as the great uncle that when he passed with no kids, left his niece and nephews 200, 500, $1 million a piece. That's like now I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking about adding my god kids to my life insurance policy, getting it in a trust or something, to the point where not only my kids benefit, but my god kids that I truly love benefit as well. Yeah, they have their parents, but it'll be just a slap in the face of me being petty to say I left my god kids $200,000 to buy a house, and now, which is my friend, he has to rise to the expectations. Dad, My goddad left me $200,000. You're alive right now. What are you gonna do to to be bigger than that? So that's the thing, having life insurance and understanding how it works, how it's structured, how it can benefit your life, how it can benefit family and friends. Like I said, if you're not married, you're single, whether it be woman or man, you don't have no kids, why not leave some money to the next generation? Term life's a good, they're cheap, you can get a lot of it, and you can set a 20, 30-year term. If you pass within those 20, 30 years, you're good. But if you don't pass within that length of time and you live longer, you're expected to live longer than that. Get a whole life. It's a little more expensive. Universal life, it's a little more expensive. You get it while you're young, you get it now, you get it before the health issues occur, you're good. The longer you wait, the more it costs. That's with anything, to a degree. The longer you wait getting this insurance, the more it's gonna cost. What's the benefits of having life insurance? Like I said, if you're counted on for your income, something happened to you, let's say you're a single mom and something happens to you, you can set up a trust to where your child only can touch the money when they turn 18. There's been instances to where you put money aside to help that child, whoever raised that child, as their caretaker, but majority of the money will go to that kid. Single father, same thing. Your child needs to be helped. Let's say the mother is still around and the mother has to get that child back. And you and the mother have bad issues. She's not going to be able to touch that money, just like the woman. If she had issues with her husband and they got a divorce and he's greedy, he's a drug addict or something, then that might not be a best fit for the child to go to that parent. But at the same time, that life insurance will give that child a reboot in the system. That life insurance will help that child be able to buy a house, be able to go to college, be able to have all the benefits of their mother or their father that was alive that will want them to do these things. Have an understanding. If you're the protector and the provider as a man in your family, something happens to you, you still want to hold that title. I will still hold that title to the day after I die. Not to the day I die, that's when it ends, but to the day after I die. I will still hold that title as the protector and the provider over my family. Because why? I have that life insurance set up. I've had the conversations with my wife. I've had the conversations with my kids. Don't go buy a Ferrari. Don't go get a mansion. Go get a Honda, go get a Toyota, get something that's durable, is gonna last. If you want a pickup truck, preference, I say Dodge and GMC, but go get whatever you want and you're comfortable with and have an understanding. When you get these things, don't ball out. I don't need you in Gucci every week buying new stuff, whether it be shoes, purses, clothes. No, you take that money, you go get you some basic clothes, you invest your money. The money you make off the investments, I don't care what you do with it, but you need money to suffice for you and the next generation of your family, your kids, because not only I want my kids to have money, I want their kids to have money. I want to be able to set up something for my grandkids to where I can have a policy for them. Put it in a trust to where if something happens to me, I want the next generation to be okay. Most people are not thinking that far. Man, it's over their head. It's too much for them. Man, I can't fathom me putting 200,000, which might not even be enough due to inflation down the line for my great grandkids that I haven't seen or my grandkid that I haven't seen. So having an understanding what you're doing with your policies, having an understanding how life insurance work for you, do your research. Don't take my advice. Do your research. Know what type of policy you need. Talk to someone. Listen to some videos. We're on YouTube to do what? Be entertained? Why not be educated as well? With that being said, shout out to everybody that came through. Hit that like button. hit the like button. You know, if you're subscribed, which you already are, and the ones that don't that are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, man. Great content. I'm gonna be trying to release videos, at least 2 videos a week. Try to do more, but at least at minimum 2 videos a week. Shout out to everybody that came through. You know what I always say when I get off of here? We here, we gone. Peace.